All right, Sean. So let's talk about Kevin Levrone. He is 52. He just made an announcement that he's competing at Olympia this year. I want to know your opinion on this one.
I have very strong opinions about what he's trying to do. And by the time it's all over, one of two things are going to happen. Either he's going to respect my opinion as a friend, or he's not going to like me and we're never going to talk again.
Well, first of all, I mean, he's in Hall of Fame. Should he be automatically qualified to compete?
Absolutely. A Hall of Fame bodybuilder should be allowed to compete. Absolutely. He shouldn't have to go through any qualifications. My advice to Kevin in October of 2015, when he first was entertaining it, it was coming to me with a lot of frustration in his voice about the unsatisfactory state of the efforts being put forth by the bodybuilders. And he's looking at it with a lot of disdain. I mean, the athletes are just, the quality is just not good. I mean, the depth is not good. You have a couple of guys, and then it gets really, really bad. And he said, well, I'm going to give myself until January. And I asked Robin Chang, and Robin Chang said, well, he's going to have to show that he's putting forth the effort. Jim Mannion said the same thing. So we waited until January. And then January came. He put on a little bit of weight. He looked like he was doing the business, but he wasn't quite there. So we waited till the Arnold Classic. And I saw him a week before, him seeing his show in Poland, and he got considerable gains. I mean, Kevin, out of everyone, he's the fastest gainer I've ever seen. And he looked every bit 250 pounds and very professional in clothes, T-shirt, tight skin shirts. The legs still haven't been revealed. By the time the Arnold Classic was over, he pretty much said, if I keep this up by May, basically I'll make the announcement. And I showed up in Pittsburgh last weekend, walking into prejudging. And mind you, I hadn't talked to Kevin since March. Kevin was walking out across the street, and I was walking in from the other side of the street. I looked over and said, hey, man, what's up? He said, hey, what's up? I said, well, you know I was here. Why didn't you call me? Oh, man, I'll catch up with you at the night show. The night show comes. I'm covering it for Muscular Development. Kevin comes from behind the curtain with Jim Mannion to announce that he's making his return. So now I'm 100% on the sidelines, because prior he was asking for my opinions. And now he's made up his mind, and he's made his announcement, and I'm waiting in the lobby with the microphone to interview him. And I said, Kevin, come over and give us a soundbite. Tell us what's going on. So I'll be right back. The next thing I knew, at 2 in the morning, he was on Instagram announcing that he'd made his announcement to come back, and he was driving. He was in the car driving back to Maryland. So he didn't want to hear what I had to say, and we didn't get to get the interview. Now you want my opinion, I'll give it to you. I think it's a foolish mistake. I think he's underestimating the talent that is there, even though it's not the Hall of Fame quality that he once competed against. He's not Lou Ferrigno at 43 years young, coming back after a 17-year layoff, and Lou came back respectable, but Lou was never in the category of Kevin Levrone in terms of accomplishment or development. So I don't want to even mention those two in the same. I don't want to mention them in the same thing. Lou was famous for acting and being one of 7 bodybuilders in the 70s that were very good. Very small window, created some mystique, and he rode that fame. Kevin won like 22 shows. He beat everybody that he ever stood next to, with the exception of Dorian Yates. He even used to beat the crap out of Ronnie Coleman. So here's Kevin, arguably one of the best bodybuilders of his time, sitting on the sidelines 13 years, decides at 51, August 16th, he'll be 52 to make this comeback. I think when he says I'm too smart for bodybuilding, I'm going to tell him, I'm going to lay it out to you why I think I'm too smart for bodybuilding. One, he and I both got out relatively young and with our health intact, although he got out with a back injury that was nagging him. I believe his last Mr. Olympia, he was 7th place. It certainly was probably his worst Olympia showing, because he started out as first runner-up. But when he kind of went out with a whimper, but he went out with an injury. And that injury is a result of bodybuilding. And I'm trying to tell Kevin that coming back to what? For what? You're an entrepreneur with your Levrone Signature Series. You're a father to your 10-year-old son, Gabriel. You're still an icon in the business. If you really feel this strongly about coming back, come back and do an exhibition tour. But you cannot save people from themselves. When someone's on a mission, I don't want to piss all over his dream. I don't want to mess up his ambition. But I got to tell him, man to man, relatively the same age. I'll be 51 in September. He's older than I am. I said, I was friends with Don Youngblood. And when he won the Masters Olympia, it was and beat Vince Taylor, he was over the moon. But this is a category for masters. Then in 2002, he decided he wanted to be in the Open Olympia, which I strongly discouraged him. I said, don't do it. There's nothing there. I just have to do it. He's a multimillionaire, Don Youngblood was. He had a trucking company. Went in that Mr. Olympia in 2002. I was commentating for one of the companies out there, and he got dead last in that show. So what do you think he did after that competition? Got a sniff, got dead last. He felt he could come back and be better the following year. He felt he needed to be over 300 pounds. And in the offseason, Don Youngblood died. He had a heart attack, massive. 52 years old, pushing 300 pounds. This is not for the faint-hearted. With the things that are happening in bodybuilding, we can't even pronounce as it related to Kevin and I's time, 15 years ago. There's a lot of advancements. And so with that, his mindset may still be, I can do it. Like a fighter, like a heavyweight fighter trying to come back. You're slower, but you still think you can take the punches. And I don't want to see Kevin wind up hurt. And if he were ever going to wind up hurt, and I look at Ronnie Coleman as an example, this is the environment that he puts himself in harm's way. As a friend, I'm concerned every day as I watch him on Instagram, doing his videos. He's benching 4 plates on each side. He's throwing around some heavy weight, and he may be training as smart as he possibly can, but it doesn't take a whole lot to tear a muscle. Kevin Levrone tore his pec when he was in his prime. He goes into the deep end of the Mr. Olympia this year, even if he gets a respectable 6th place, which I highly doubt that he will. It's not going to make him any more famous or any more popular. Phil Heath, Cedric McMillan, Juan Morel, should he qualify, even an aging and injured Victor Martinez. Kevin's got to go through these guys. Out of these guys, I have 2 going into the Bodybuilding Hall of Fame in the form of Phil Heath and Dexter Jackson. The rest are good bodybuilders, but they're not Hall of Fame material. So what are you coming back for? What are you coming back to accomplish? Only Kevin Levrone knows. I'm going to cheer for him, but more importantly, I'm going to pray for him, because Kevin's not used to getting beat up. And when that first call-out comes and you're not in it, that second call-out comes and you're potentially not in it, it's a very lonely place, I know. I'm the one at 22 years old standing on stage in the Mr. Olympia that was 13th place that didn't get any call-outs. I got called out. There was 24 guys. I stood there. It is a very lonely place. If Kevin does what he thinks he can do mentally, he'll prove me wrong. But I'm one of those guys that's keeping it real. I don't have Kevin in the top 10.
What do people in the IFBB think about this move?
They told Kevin, don't do it. I think they became sympathetic to the work that Kevin put in, because he said, give me a chance to show you that I'm serious. Because this isn't the first time Kevin's talked about making a comeback. He's cried wolf probably 3 or 4 times about coming back, but he never did anything to show it. And this is the one time that Kevin's actually physically gone through the transformation, put the time in the gym. To do what Kevin's done from October till now, you can't take that away. That's hours. That's hours of hard work. And when they saw that, they said, we've got to give him a platform. They wanted him as a guest so that no legacy is at stake. He doesn't put himself in harm's way. Bodybuilding didn't stand still. Phil Heath is still a shark in comparison to the other Mr. Olympias, even when he's off. He's no Kai Green. Are you kidding me? I sat there and watched Kai win 3 Arnold Classics this year. So somewhere in Kevin's mind, he's economized that these guys aren't him. And he's going to come back to show them the ropes. And it would be like Sugar Ray Leonard trying to come back and fight Floyd Mayweather. He's going to be getting beat by guys that should never be able to say that. Remember Mike Tyson at the end of his career? I mean, there's 3 or 4 guys that we can't even pronounce their names. We don't even remember who they are, that had their shot at beating Mike Tyson up.
Do you think Kevin is getting good advice from anybody in the business about this comeback?
I don't, because I think the majority of the guys find it very admirable. I don't know very many people, as life continues on and business goes on, that want to do and give up the things that they have and they enjoy for the small reward of getting back on that Olympia stage. But for Kevin, this is life. This is breath. And he was given an opportunity, and he's going to try to seize that moment. And I cannot piss all over that dream for him. But this is not the place nor the venue. You have to test the waters. I'm going to come back, and I want to do it on the biggest stage against the best bodybuilders in the world. You should have gone to China. Get on that stage and test the waters against people of a lesser caliber. But now he's got his John Hancock on that Olympia thing. He has to go. He's got a gun to his head now. I don't think he's walking in the gym measuring how much weight he's going to lift. I think he just picks it up and throws it around. Kevin was that guy, and now every time he steps in that gym, it's a potential accident waiting to happen. And as a pro bodybuilder, you can't calculate that. You just have to do it. I think it's a very foolish move on his part, and there's really not a whole lot to be gained from it. Not at this level.
I'm sitting like this, and she's sitting there. The next thing I know, she sees my face like this, because I see this face looking in the window like this. There's a face looking in the window, her window. She turns, she goes like this. And when she turns, she screams, and it startles. It's the guy, right?